Hello everyone. This video is to go over the Essay 1 assignment and answer some frequently asked questions as well as give some extra advice. So by now hopefully you've all looked at the assignment and read the Essay 1 tips document. There'll be a little bit of overlap in this video with that. First I wanted to look at the Essay 1 assignment. Since this is the first essay assignment you've gotten from me, things will not be as familiar as they will later on because all of my essay assignments tend to look the same. So first we have why we're doing this right at the top. And for this assignment, we are getting familiar with our academic essay writing structure as well as practicing our textual analysis work. Next comes the actual assignment. And as you see, we are really practicing a PACES analysis. So I'm asking you to identify the author's project and argument, pick out and discuss two claims made in the text, and then talk about how they're supported. Next, there are this evaluation criteria, things that I will be looking for when I grade this, in the grading rubric, which you should be able to see shortly, will match this. And then how much everything is worth. So let's talk about some of this. Specifically, I want to talk about what the assignment is in a little bit more detail, as well as how you might structure this assignment and what our writing process is going to be. First, we might think about what the assignment isn't. So some frequently asked questions here. So should you agree or disagree with the author? No, your reader should not be able to tell whether you agree or not. Do you need to help the author support his or her claims? No, your job is not to help the author. This is a common mistake I see with this assignment where students want to add evidence to the claims made, but that is not what this assignment is about. Finally, sometimes it's hard to distinguish between what we're doing and summary. Your essay should refer to the text throughout. However, this is definitely not a summary assignment. This is analysis. You are breaking apart the argument. You're picking out and highlighting two important or interesting claims. You're telling why they are important and interesting, so their connection to the main argument, and discussing how they are supported. In the assignment, there's a list of things that successful papers should do, and this is exactly what I will be looking for when I grade this assignment. So the first three things in that list are connected to the PACES, the PACES we've been talking about. I will definitely be looking for you to describe the overall project and argument. Some of the claims, specifically for this assignment, two of the most important or interesting claims, and you should explain how those claims relate to the argument. So why are they important or interesting? In addition, you should be analyzing the ways in which the author supports his or her claims, so the use of evidence. And finally, I will look for you identifying some specific strategies or appeals, it's the same thing, two different words, that you see connected to those two claims. Number 6 on this list talks about the structure that we're going to use. So it says, use an effective mini-essay structure that starts with an introduction and thesis and has body paragraphs that start with topic sentences. You do not need a conclusion for this assignment. So I imagine that your final essay will have an introduction paragraph that ends with a statement of purpose, which is your main point, and then two body paragraphs that start with clear topic sentences and are supported by evidence and explanation. So let's talk about each of these. Your introduction paragraph should really do two things. And there's a little bit more detail about this in the Essay 1 Tips document, but all good introduction paragraphs for academic essays should give background and then tell us what you're going to talk about. So state your purpose, give us your thesis. So what is your point? For background, there are a number of things that you could do, and this will vary depending on what the assignment is, what counts as background. For this, you should certainly introduce the topic of college and introduce Addison or Hrabowski. It would make sense for you to also introduce their project and argument here. And then your thesis, your statement of purpose, is going to be something about how you will be looking at Hrabowski or Addison's claims and how they support them. There are some examples in the Essay 1 Tips document of how this might look, and you'll get some feedback later this week. Some verbs used for describing projects that I have seen. And I, for both, want to emphasize that the verb inform is very neutral. It suggests no real persuasion happening, which I don't think would be accurate for either of these authors. So what might a body paragraph look like? I'm asking to pick out two claims and have two body paragraphs. So my suggestion is that you focus each body paragraph on a claim. What that means is each of your two body paragraphs needs to answer these questions. What is the claim? How is the claim connected to the main argument? How is the claim supported by evidence? And are there any strategies that go with this claim? When you're picking out claims and evidence and strategy, you'll want to watch out for a couple things. One pitfall I see is not matching the evidence to the claim. Here's an example. The claim, Addison claims college is a place where students can begin. The evidence given, Addison explains community college is a hidden public gem. It's true that she notes this, but this is another claim she is making. Claims can be used to support other claims, so a claim might be supported by reasoning that makes sense, that would be supported by claim. However, does this assertion support the claim that community colleges are where students can begin? Not really. The solution here would be to find the evidence that relates to the original claim, or if you can't find much evidence, you could talk about that. If you do talk about that, you might address whether the claim would be accepted as is without much evidence or not. Another pitfall I see is picking out a strategy that supports the overall argument but is not related to that specific claim. Here's an example. The claim, Hrabowski argues that more counseling needs to be provided so that students can make the best college choices. Evidence. He asserts that lack of counseling is one reason fewer than 10% of low-income students have a degree by the time they are 24. Notice here that he is using a claim to interpret a statistic so that it supports his larger claim. That's fine. I just wanted to point out that this is evidence that is actually a claim as well. Anyway, the strategy that was picked out was Hrabowski opening his text with the debate about college to appeal to the reader. So he does this, and it is appealing, especially to readers who are wondering about college. However, this doesn't really have anything to do with counseling. So it wouldn't make sense in a paragraph that is revolving around his claims about counseling. The solution here would be to choose a strategy that is connected to this particular claim. So as a hint, he discusses Maryland in particular here, and he's writing in the Baltimore Sun to people in Maryland. So that would make sense to talk about. Alternatively, this strategy, if it doesn't make sense in that particular paragraph, maybe it would make sense in a different paragraph. Or maybe you'll just need to leave it out of this particular essay. The Essay 1 Tips document talks about what should be in a body paragraph, and this goes through in order how an effective body paragraph for this assignment should look. I just wanted to point out that all the things in red here, where you explain the significance, you explain why things are important claims or why they count as evidence, that's really what brings you from summary to analysis. Our writing process, we will be doing multiple drafts for this. This week, in week 4, you're going to be drafting an introduction paragraph and both getting and giving feedback in the discussion board. You'll be giving feedback to multiple peers and getting feedback from multiple peers, and I will be participating in the discussion board as well. Then in week 5, we will continue drafting and doing feedback via discussion board. However, we'll be focused on body paragraphs. And then the end of that week will be the final draft submitted. However, it won't stop there, because Essay 2 will be a partial rewrite of Essay 1 and then adding on to Essay 1.